About exploring other options as far as training is concerned?
Yes, I will say my father is no longer my head trainer at the moment, but I have been looking at other options at the moment. So I know some things had to get shooken up a little bit, just had to move different ways. That's
Terrible, John. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to take the low hanging fruit. I refuse to. I'm going to say this black man and black son have built something great together. And now, this black son has said it is time to reach out to new and better endeavors and greener pastures. Does that mean he does not love his father? Nope. Does that mean he has hard feelings towards his son? I would absolutely hope not. But in the loss, maybe he saw something that his father couldn't give him and or teach him. Maybe the father said, hey, I've taught you all that I can teach you. It's time for you to expand. So I'm not going to take the low-hanging fruit here. Good on you for making the best business decisions for your career. Get back on social media, though, because, boy, do we fucking miss y'all and all the shit y'all talk.
All right, apparently, Brian Norman Jr. is got rid of his father as his trainer. He said it to Nazi on Cigar Talk. Them boys in Philly is having a field day with it. Them boys in Philly, they going crazy with it. At the end of the day, hopefully him and his father's relationship is intact. But that tells me a lot about his father if he cool with it, with his son going to get another position, because he understands what it means to be his own man. It's a lot of guys, it's a lot of fathers that won't step out the way, and they got a contract with their son and their egos out the way. He care about his son a lot. Hopefully the relationship is still intact. He care enough about his son to let his son go out there and make his own decisions. And this is what I was kind of saying about Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders, right? When people was like, oh, Deion should go coach the Browns. And I'm like, at the end of the day, he has to let Shedeur be his own man. You know what I'm saying? You can't hold your son's hand. Now, if it was best for the son, is y'all working together. And unfortunately, it's always fucked up, excuse my language, to see these changes come after a loss, okay? These changes should come before a loss. It shouldn't take a loss for you to scrap everything. But, I mean, hopefully their relationship, I feel like it's still intact. And he can go learn something. And the father can go learn something from somebody else. Don't nobody know everything. And, Angelo Dundee had to learn it. Customato had to learn it. Emmanuel Stewart had to learn from somebody. And you always can keep learning. That's one thing I can tell y'all about just going to the gym. You always continue to learn. One thing about retaining information, you always are able to learn. It's always something else. You can study 5 conquerors. It's 20,000 more conquerors you can go study. You can study about this country, go to this case, another country. There's always more knowledge and more room to learn. But at the end of the day, hopefully about him is finding the right set, the right chemistry, the right team around him that make him feel comfortable, who speak the language. But they're gonna give Brian Norman hell. When you run that mouth, people love to hear people shut the fuck up. I remember Muhammad Ali, he got beat. I think it was about Joe Frazier for the first time. And people watched the movie, people was talking shit because he ran his mouth. But when you run your mouth, it shows supreme confidence. Some people, they win or they get up, then they start running their mouth. I like people who run their mouth. I remember Reggie Miller he said people thought I was trash talking to get in the other player's head. He said I was trash talking to amp me up, to get me hyped up, to get me coming. Ain't nothing wrong with trash talking. That's the beauty of it. When I was growing up, you go to any park, you hoop or play baseball, or y'all compete playing 2K or Fight Night back in the day, or Knockout Kings, whatever, or it's Tecmo Bowl. It was going to be trash talking. That's what made competition. We didn't grow up in the participation trophy era. It was competition. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, his son, his father was proud of him. And I respect him allowing his son and not having his son in one of these hot wired ass contracts like some of these retired fighters with a podcast where he couldn't do nothing, and letting his son go find out what's best for him. And who knows? Maybe he ended up finding out his dad is best for him. But when people like Bill Haney plant seeds, oh, you know, he learned boxing in the garage and he did. When they plant seeds, you think the other fighter don't hear that? They don't get that? You think they don't bother the son when the daddy talked all that shit and Ryan Garcia did this, we just good to ride, we gonna do this, and none of that happened? When he get knocked out and his dad can't really tell him nothing. But then again, we heard Bozzy do the same thing for them niggas in Philly talking shit when he was fighting Kerry Tucker. Just go knock him out. Dad, how do I go knock him out? It's a lot of guys that be in them corners who don't know a goddamn thing. You know, I was listening to Tom Brady talking about what's wrong with the NFL. He said coaching ain't as good. I remember Andre Berto, this no disrespect, his first coach, that white guy was horrible. At least in the corner, he was horrible. He didn't give him any good information in that corner. And in that first fight, I used to watch this until, before he lost. That coach was horrible to the mofo. He gave some of the worst corner advice in history. And if you know, you know. If you remember, you remember. But I don't think it's nothing to laugh about. I don't think it's nothing to, a lot of niggas in Philly want to laugh and all this type of stuff and all that and make jokes about it. But I just admire his father allowing him to go do that, because some of these niggas' fathers, they'll send him to the upper room before he can leave. At the end of the day, you have a man. Brian Norman is a man. If he can't make his own decisions as a 23, 22, 24-year-old man, when the fuck can he make his decisions? And you got to understand, that's why Roy Jones Sr. and Roy Jones Jr. didn't get along. Roy Jones Sr. wanted Roy Jones to keep on, taking baby steps. Roy was like, nigga, I'm ready to step up. The relationship was never the same. But as a man, that shows you something. You got to make decisions. You got to make decisions based on what's best for you and what's best for you as a man. Even if that means cutting off your own father, your mother, you got to make decisions what's best for you. Going back to Straight Outta Compton, it showed that Dr. Dre mama didn't believe in his music. She wanted to go be at a cubicle. He believed so much and it worked. Not saying that's going to be everybody's thing. You can't be at home sitting there with boo-boo stains in your ass, on your drawers, and you talking about I'm gonna be a pro gamer. Everybody trying to hear that. And it could be possible, but nobody's trying to hear that. But if you really willing to put the work in, you got a strategy, and you really, really, really willing to do what you need to do, you got to believe in yourself. But you ain't a man until you start making decisions. But if you got your mother, your father, or a bitch in your ear micromanaging you, how can you get to where you need to get to? How can you get to where you need to get to? I know so many of these father-son, the only reason the son stick by him because contractually or the father won't let him go. That's a fact. There's a lot of them out there. So, hopefully, for the most part, he get it in. He find a good fit for him. Maybe Teddy Atlas would be a good fit for him, buddy. Maybe Buddy for him, Teddy Atlas will be good for him. John David Jackson will be good for him. Ronnie Shields will be good for him. Anybody that teaches an aggressive style, I think, hey man, maybe he should go tap in with Mike Tyson. I'd love to see Mike in the corner. I think maybe he can tap in with Mike Tyson. That'd be anybody that can harness that aggression and fill in those skills gaps. I think that'd be a good look for him. I mean, Jonathan Banks, I think that's another good look for him. That's another good look for him. Jonathan Banks, I think Sugar Hill will be a good look for him. He'll thrive in that crunk type of style. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll thrive in that. I think going to Philly is a no-go, so you can take Steven Bredman the fuck up out of there. Who else you got? Hey, Derrick James might not be a bad fit for him. I know they got a relationship with Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying, already. But, honestly, I think a guy like John David Jackson, if I had a pick, I think John David Jackson would be great for for Brian Norman Jr. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree, you can find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.